Hey, everybody. Welcome to the It's Never Too Late show. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Michelle Ann Owens, and I'm your guest host. I'm honored to be asked by the amazing Suzanne Oshima with us today, life and love transformational coach at Your Next Amazing Story, so that Suzanne, for a change, can have the opportunity to share all of her amazing tips and tricks, in some cases, to navigate love and life as an older, amazing woman, which we want you to be. And if you don't feel like you're there yet, I encourage you to go to the website, yournextamazingstory.com, to read Suzanne's personal transformation story and about how she got to where she is today, and why she's in a great position to help inspire all of us and to help us figure out and navigate our life and our love. So today we have a topic that I know you're all going to be really into. It is how to find love again in midlife. Now, I'm definitely experiencing this. I'm a divorcee, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too, either divorced or a widow. And so this is all things that we have to deal with. It's part of our life journey. And so excited to have Suzanne here today to share some valuable tips on this very topic. So with no further ado, welcome, Ms. Suzanne.
Thanks, Michelle, so much. I'm so excited to have the tables turned on me and get grilled.
Hey, yeah. I'm gonna grill you on behalf of all of us ladies. We need your help.
Well, I'm more than happy to help. And it's what I'm so passionate about.
I know, and thank you for that, because I think us women need to stick together, and we need to help each other out. And having that support and to have somebody to go to like you, and especially coaches, professional coaches, I think is really important. So what you're doing is awesome. So thank you. So let's dive in. How to find love again in midlife. Why is this such a big topic, do you think?
It's a big topic because it's a lot different to date when you're 40 and above and beyond, right? Than it was when we were in our 20s and 30s. In our 20s and 30s, it was completely different. And I also find that sometimes when women have been married for like 25 years, is then they come out of a divorce and now they're in midlife and they haven't dated in that amount of time, and they're like, oh my god, they're like a deer in headlights. What do I do? I don't know how to navigate the dating sites or even how to meet men organically. And it was
Mhm.
funny because one of my clients, she found herself single after 25 years, and back then when she last dated, there weren't even dating sites, right? So she had no idea, and her grown children who were in their 20s were telling her what to do. And I remember when she first came to me, everything that she was telling me that they told her to do, I'm like, yeah, that works in your 20s and 30s. It no longer works now in your 50s. Sorry.
So good thing she came to you and she got some help, or else she would have been attracting all those wrong guys, right? All the
Right.
non-quality men that she's probably looking for at this point, right? So, when you work with your clients, what do you find are the biggest issues or obstacles, challenges when trying to re-enter the dating world in this life, in this part of life?
I think the biggest challenge is it's fear. It's honestly fear. And it's understandable because, like I said, if you haven't been single for a long time, like either you were in a relationship or marriage, is getting back out there in midlife is scary,
Yeah, yeah.
because maybe you thought that, oh, I was going to spend the rest of my life with this person, and now I'm not. And now I'm feeling really afraid.
Mhm.
And I also find, I don't know if you find this, Michelle, is I find that as we get older, our social circles change. And so our support systems are a little bit different, whether it's friends or family, it's just different. And I don't find that we meet people that are in our exact same situation. So there's a lot of times where we can either feel isolated or really alone. And then sometimes if we're really strong independent women, is that we can feel afraid to ask for help, right?
Yeah, no, totally. And also, what I was thinking about as you were talking is that, if you have been in a long term relationship and then it went awry for whatever reason, whatever that reason was, you have to deal with that before you start looking again, because otherwise that's going to come into play. Is that right? Do you find that that's something that women struggle with too?
Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up, Michelle, because it's so true. A lot of times when people go through breakups, whether it's a divorce or a breakup of a relationship, is sometimes they'll take some time off from dating, but then they'll jump right back out there without healing their heart and healing everything that went on. And if you just jump back out there, you're dragging that baggage with you into the next relationship,
Yeah.
and it's going to make for a toxic relationship. And so it's really important to go through the healing process, but also try to reflect on what happened in that relationship and what can I learn, what mistakes did I make, and what mistakes did he make. And don't beat yourself up, but just say, what can I do differently going forward so that I don't end up again in the same type of
Yeah. Yeah.
situation.
And I think some of the things, they could be triggers too. You might think you're healed. You might think, oh, I spent some time being single. I focused on my career. I did this and that. And I feel good again. I feel I'm ready to be in a new relationship, to find a new man or partner, whoever's out there listening. But then when you're in it, then suddenly something gets triggered that you thought you had dealt with. Do you find that people come to you too and be like, Suzanne, help me. This old wound of mine is being like poked at by this new partner of mine.
Oh, yeah. And what's so interesting is a lot of times people will think I'm totally healed from that. And I'll tell you the big one that comes up all the time is either rejection or abandonment.
Yep.
Those are
Cheating.
the two things. Yeah.
Cheating. Hmm.
Oh, cheating too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that always comes up and you can heal from it. And you can be fine for, say, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And it can go, what I say is it can go dormant, right? And then
Hmm.
you get into a new relationship with a new man. And then he acts or does or says something that reminds you of your ex right
Yeah.
before he cheated or abandoned you. And then all of a sudden you get triggered. And then that insecurity is brought back to life. It's not dormant anymore. And it
Yep.
starts to rear its ugly head.
Totally. I have a guy friend of mine just told me recently when we went out for dinner that he was seeing a woman and was totally into her. She was totally into him. They were spending as much time as possible. They both have children from previous marriages, and things were progressing well. He thought. And there was one particular weekend when he did not have time for her because he had to deal with personal stuff, his car maintenance, his kids, just stuff. And she got really bent out of shape and thought that he was using an excuse to not see her because that was supposed to be their weekend together. And he said she just cut him off and didn't even want to talk about it. And so he goes, I honestly don't know what I did wrong. He said, because I was really into her and I was building this relationship. And he said, so I feel like that must be something from the past. And he said, she won't even talk to me now. She thinks that I wasn't interested in being with her. And I was like, wow, that was a dramatic exit. But that's kind of a testament to this like old wound stuff. Like if there's a behavior that a guy does, then women jump, you know? And I think when you get
Yeah.
to midlife, you've been through so much already by this point that's when it's almost like a little worse.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was trying to, as you were telling this story, I saw this quote on Instagram. I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but there was something like this: if you don't heal the wound from a past relationship, and you go into a new relationship, is you're gonna bleed all over the person that you're in the new relationship with, which is what happened with your friend. Is
Yeah.
she made him pay for what her ex did, because that was definitely something from her past that got
Yeah.
triggered. And
Yeah.
then she, instead of trying to communicate with him, is then probably, I don't even know this woman, but I can already tell that an old pattern came up for her. Is like, I'm going to cut him off because I'm not going to get hurt and I'm going to protect. And
Yep.
so she immediately went into protection mode, right?
Yep.
And while, yeah, she didn't get hurt because she pulled away, she also was protecting herself from having amazing love with this man that probably truly loved her, but he
Yeah.
just needed to take care of some stuff one
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. And I even said to him, I said, well, did you go after her? Did you say, hey, let's talk? And he said, no, I just let her go. He said, and I think that that was part of the problem too. He said, because I think she did it purposely to see if I would fight for her. And
Yeah, and that, it's really funny. Some women do use that technique. It's a bad technique because, first of all, she showed him her insecurities, which I bet if you were to check in with your friend and say, was that a turnoff for you that she showed how insecure she was about the relationship? It probably made him question in his mind, is she truly the right woman for me? Because she not only didn't believe me, but she's insecure and thinking that I'm cheating on her just because I did. And he's probably thinking, I don't even want to live this life with this person, even though she's great. I can't live my life like this the rest of my life of
right,
her
right.
always questioning what I'm doing. Right.
Totally, totally. So let's talk about more the support system, just a little bit more, because you mentioned it earlier about having different people around you, and that's something that I wanted to revisit because I have some really amazing friends of all age groups. Most of them are older than I am. So one of my best friends, she's in her early 70s, and she's super cool, and she was like the hippie generation, and she has awesome advice for me all the time. So I feel very fortunate, but not all women have those types of friends, those go-to friends. Some women feel that aloneness. So how do you coach your clients in order to make sure that they're sharing their concerns with the right people around them and not having other people influence them or push them in directions that may not be good for them, or for their love life?
That's such a great question. So I love that you have a great support system around you, Michelle. But I think that a lot of women don't have that around them. And I'll just share with you a lot of times what I find is that sometimes women can have friends. We all have that friend that what I call a negative Nancy or a Debbie Downer
Yeah.
that is down on life, down on dating, thinks that all men are cheaters, there aren't any quality men out there. And, if that's what she believes, that's fine for her. But if that's who you're surrounding yourself with in your life, trust me when I say that's going to bleed onto you. That's going to negatively affect your life and your outlook on what you're going to find out there. Because if you hang around that and you listen to that long enough, is at a certain point you're going to go, she's right, she's right, there aren't any good men out there,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
men are cheaters. And so be careful about the Debbie Downers and the negative Nancy's and really focus on surrounding yourself with good women who are positive about life and want to change their life and aren't into I'm stuck and I'm going to make everyone suffer with me.
Yeah, I think we've all had those kinds of friends, and misery loves company, So, and I've been there too, where I've been on board with that, and I've been like, yeah, men suck, like all of that kind of stuff.
Well, we all have. It just depends
Yeah,
where we're at in life, right?
sure, sure. I'm not there now, just so everybody knows. Um, One thing, and I mentioned my older friend. One thing that's frustrating for her is she still looks extremely beautiful for her early 70s. She actually looks like she's in her probably late 50s. She looks amazing. And her problem is when she tries to meet new men, they all want to date much younger. But she needs to date someone who's like in her 50s or 60s because men, in her opinion, who are at her age group, she's not attracted to them. So it's almost like she wants to date younger, but then the younger guys that she wants to date want to date younger women. So how do you help your clients navigate this whole idea around like this? It's strange when you keep yourself in shape and you want to find a great partner, but the age and the preference thing is so different.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true when I believe age is just a number and it shouldn't matter. And I would say don't focus so much on the age of a man, just like she wouldn't want a man to focus on the age of her, right?
Right.
Is to really focus on finding the right person. And I bet if she didn't even share her age with some of the younger men, if she looks 20 years younger or whatever it is they would probably not even care if they met her in person and they were like, oh, we have so much in common and
Yeah.
you get along. But I would let go of the age thing. And if a man doesn't want to date you because of your age, then he's the wrong man for you.
Yeah. I had that happen this year. There was a guy that I was dating, and we started to get more involved. And then when he found out my age, he broke it off because he said, "You're too old. I have a cutoff at X age," and he said, "You're a little older than that." And I was like, "Okay, so what's the difference of like 3 years?" Because his age cutoff was 3 years off of mine, and I was like, but he was very, very strict about it. And he was like, "Sorry, no can do." I was like, "Okay, I guess you're
Well,
not the guy."
did he want to have children?
Yeah, but, I mean, yes, we had already talked about that. And so that wouldn't be an issue for me. I'm still in the zone where I can.
Mhm.
So I'm not, but I think because I'm older, I'm in my early 40s, that would be a problem in his mind. He wanted someone in her 30s.
Right. So in that case, that's a little bit different because the children were a factor. And so, I that could have been making him nervous while you're still in the zone, right? If you can have children. My sister had her last baby, I think at 43.
Yeah.
And I know plenty of women that have had children into their 40s. I
Mhm.
think for him though, it probably just scared him a little that it would have to either happen a little bit
Like
quicker.
sooner. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
right? And also because honestly, let's be real, is that there's no guarantees, right? Is the chances of being able to have children, it diminishes. And so that probably scared him. And so for him, those are fears for him that you can't help him overcome.
Right.
He's obviously very set in his ways, right?
Right. Right.
And so that saying, you can't change a man. If you know he had his own issues going on.
For
And
sure.
so
So
you know
bye-bye.
exact
Bec
and honestly, he probably wasn't good enough for you, because if that he was so stuck on 3 years, then that's his own problem.
Sure, I agree. Thank you. So, for the women who come to you and they say, "Suzanne, help me. I need your coaching services." I have tried literally everything. I have friends and family have tried to hook me up with people. I've gone to events. I've met people at work. I'm not meeting the right guy. What am I doing wrong? What should I do? What do you say? How do you help them work through that?
What I always say is if she feels like she's tried everything and it's not working, then it just tells me that she's going down the wrong path. That's there she needs to shift something. It's not impossible, but it tells me that she needs help on figuring out, number 1, is it past relationships or experiences that are holding her back? Or is maybe she doing the wrong thing on dates and maybe men are disappearing and pulling away? Or is she just choosing men that are not emotionally available and she doesn't realize that she's choosing all the wrong men, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so sometimes it's important to get that outside perspective that could be unbiased and look at, here's what she's doing, here's what's going on. Now I can share with you what I see that's going on. But what I would say is that you have to be open to learning. Is don't get so set in your ways of, I know this, I got this, I figured it out. Because
right.
sometimes I will get on the phone with people and they're so like set in their way. I know. And I'm like, okay, can we just open up that it could be something different?
Yeah,
Because there's an Albert Einstein quote that I love, is if you keep doing the same things, you will keep getting the same results. If you
yeah,
want different results, then you need to do different things. So if it's not
absolutely.
working, don't give up completely. Let's figure it out. What's going on?
Exactly. Like pivot the ship.
Yes, exactly.
I love what you just said because it's so true. I think once us women get to midlife, we do feel like we know everything. We've accomplished a lot by now. And so it's hard for us to, kind of peel back the onion and say, okay, maybe I've produced some bad habits for myself. Maybe maybe my mindset needs to shift a little bit. So I love that you help your clients do that. And I love your energy too, because it's like warm and welcoming, and I don't feel like you would be yelling at me. And I I've had I've had coaches in the past who I just felt like I was being like pummeled, and I was like, really, I'm not a bad person. you know so I encourage everybody out there to please go to Suzanne's website, and Suzanne, if people want to coach with you one-on-one, should they reach out to you through the website?
Yes, if they go to yournextamazingstory.com, you can just go to the Work With Me tab, and there's an application to fill out that shares with me a lot about what you're struggling with. And then we can jump on a complimentary call with me, and I'll find out more about what's going on for you. And if I feel like we're a good fit to work together, then I'll share with you what that would look like. But if we're not, I may point you in a different direction.
Okay. And I love that too. So you won't just work with anybody. It has to be
Yeah.
a good fit. And so everybody out there, yournextamazingstory.com, please go there. Any final thoughts for the folks out there, the ladies of the world, to inspire them about finding love again in midlife?
Yeah, my last thought would be this is you don't have to do this alone, and it's okay to ask for help, because I
Yeah,
find all too often that as strong independent women, we hate asking for help. We're like, "No, I got this." It's like it's
totally.
okay to ask for help. Is
Yeah.
that's what we're all here for, is to help each other, right?
Absolutely. And again, us ladies need to stick together and support each other. So, everybody out there listening or watching, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to Suzanne's tips, and please reach out to her. It's been so fun being on the It's Never Too Late show. And you can see it again on video or podcast format. Just simply go to yournextamazingstory.com, and we'll be back again soon with a new topic to discuss. Thank you so much, Suzanne.